Today, 1 year ago, my spiritual master disappeared, left his body in this mortal world. I'm not saying he died, because this is not true. For the soul, there's neither birth, neither death. Because the soul is eternal, Sat, Chit, Ananda, full of bliss, knowledge, conscious, always there, and will never die. My spiritual master was not just an ordinary guru who gives you a mantra, taking some money, and just wants you to surrender and give all your life and whatever you have, possessions, to him. A spiritual master should give us love to God, give you true knowledge. Who are you? That you're not the body, not the mind, that you're the spiritual soul. He will give you the process, how to realize it, how to achieve it, how to walk the path. And guru means someone who is heavy. Sometimes he has to instruct you, like a father, a loving father, instructs his children. Sometimes he has to be a bit heavy, otherwise they don't understand. But still, the father loves their children so much. And the spiritual master, he's the embodiment of this love. His whole life, he dedicates every word, every moment to the upliftment of his followers, of his disciples. There's so many fake gurus out there nowadays. Last time somebody called me, "You're a fake guru because you don't say that and that and this." And maybe it's true, but to be guru means to serve, to give something to humanity without asking in return. There are many gurus, your teachers, your parents, your loved ones, your family especially. But there's something called a Diksha Guru, an initiating spiritual master who gives you a certain process to achieve the goal of life, to get free from birth, death, old age and disease. My spiritual master, His Holiness Kadamba Kanana Swami, on his last days, he sent a video message for his disciples. And in this message, he went back to the basics. He wanted us to be regulated, to follow the principles of freedom. Don't eat fish, eggs, meat. So much violence, so much karma involved in killing animals. It will pollute our consciousness. It's much more difficult to practice spiritual standards, to go deep, as long as we need to enjoy our tongue in that way. There's so many vegetables and grains and milk products. I'm not telling you become vegetarian. I'm just sharing the path I was given. No intoxication. It completely brings you in ignorance. It covers your mind. I was a heroin addict for 8 years. I know what I'm talking. Now I'm free. I don't need any substances. I feel the intoxication from within, from my relationship to the divine. No gambling. It's so bad. So many friends of mine, they lost everything from gambling. Because your mind is not free. You're always thinking about something and you're playing with the devil, so to say. It's very disturbing, gambling. And the worst one for you, probably, no illicit sex. Nowadays, sex is advertised everywhere, right? Sex is okay. I don't say no to sex. I'm married, I have a child. But take up the responsibility. Get married, have a family. Protect your wife. Protect your children. Be a father, be a wife. Not just at random with everyone. Then you get children, you leave them. That means to be responsible. So we can engage our urge for sexuality in something higher. If these principles would be followed everywhere, everyone would be happy. Would be not so much war and quarrel, hypocrisy. Because in the age of Kali, like my spiritual master mentioned, this age, Kali means quarrel, hypocrisy, fight, diversity, white and black, male, female, up and down, left and right, vaccine, no vaccine. You know, it divides us. All the religions If we don't see the bigger picture, it divides us. This is the age of Kali, the dark age, where we are right now, the last 5,000 years. And 5,000 years ago, the emperor in this time, King Parikshit, he saw Kali, the personified Kali, and he banished him, and he told him to go to these places, to bordels, where there's slaughterhouses, where there's gambling, intoxication. But in this time, Kali said, there is no such places. I'm a living being. I need some shelter. I need to live somewhere. And the duty of the king is to protect his citizens. So he told the personified Kali, you go there where there's gold, where there's an excessive amount of gold. That is where we find Kali. And that's what's happening everywhere, right? Money, violence, wars, slaughterhouses, intoxication, sexuality. And everything gets perverted. Everything has its place. But these things, they cover us completely. It will be very difficult for us to realize who we are. The spiritual master comes. He embodies these principles. He's not just talking about it. He lives it with each cell. And then he gives us knowledge. He gives us the understanding because he is self-realized. He can open our eyes. With the torchlights of knowledge, Akyana, he can open our eyes. Because we're in ignorance, we can't see it. I know many of you who hear this now will say, so much restrictions, so stupid, this is like normal. Yes. It is normalized by Kali itself, but it's not normal. And if you could break free of this, trust me, you will be free. I saw it in so many people, in myself, to experience the inner bliss, the inner joy, because the consciousness comes forward. This was the last message of my spiritual master, so I truly have to take this to my heart. But he was not just a spiritual master to me. He gave me all kinds of instructions. Yes, he supported me in my ways, to use pranayama and to show it to people, but what he really wanted was for me to speak about God, my relationship to God, my experience. I always said, yeah, yoga and pranayama, it's okay, but there's more, don't get boring. So encourage me to speak what is really in my heart. He was my spiritual master. He was my father. I never had a father figure in my life. He represented my father. He's an ambassador of goodwill. He represents God himself. Because he only speaks about things related to God, how to attain love of Godhead. He never spoke about mundane things. In the same time, he was my best friend, a loving friend, always guiding me. I know when I had a bad time, in 1 week I will see him, and everything will be fine. In the presence of Srila Gurudev, all your desires and mental constipation and everything what bothers you, he just takes it away. Just by his presence. But especially for my family, he's so much more than just a guru. He came to our wedding. He guided us in the beginning of our relationship. He helped me to be more responsible as a husband. He helped my wife to be a little bit more relaxed and trust the husband. He gave us a vision. He gave us a purpose. He helped us to bring our two different worlds together. So he came to the wedding. He blessed us. He was there when our child was born. In our culture, we have a name-giving ceremony or grain-giving ceremony. He also was there. Somehow by destiny, it was arranged. He was a big part in our lives. And today I was grieving because I remembered how special he is. How he makes everyone dance. When he sings Kirtan, the Hare Krishna mantra, he becomes so powerful and ecstatic. Everyone gets crazy and mad. And he always said his biggest joy is to see when all the people dancing in ecstasy. This gave him the most pleasure. And I remembered all the moments. Sometimes I do these meditations about gratitude and I ask the people, hey, meditate, what was the biggest joy in your life? What was the most precious moment? And then also meditate. And my moment was when we were in India, in Mayapur, and my spiritual master was singing and dancing in ecstasy for 6 hours. He asked me in the beginning, Advaita, can you sing? Oh no, Gurudev, I'm sick, I have health problems, I can't sing. And he was so upset. He like, look at me, I'm 60 years old, I'm also sick. And he took the microphone and he started singing and he never stopped. And at the end, in the evening, I had such an amazing experience with him. I can still see him in front of me. In this moment, after I knew him for so many years, I realized to this person I want to surrender. I want to give my life because I could feel he's so dear to God. He's so dear to Krishna. And he's just here as an instrument of mercy to give us the same opportunity to become also dear to God. This was my most precious moment. This one realization. Our Gurudev, he was a friend of everyone. He had hundreds of disciples. But when he came, he was so personal. He took time with everyone, sometimes in groups, sometimes personal. He knew about each and everyone's life. And the Swami, in the order of renunciation, he shouldn't deal with marriage problems, but he was there to guide us, to help us. He always chastised me, because I always came, okay, Guru Maharaj, and very humble. And he said, stop doing this movement with your hands, just relax. He wanted to be a friend to us. And I just recently read a statement from Bhaktivinoda Thakur, where he says, the spiritual master is not just a guru, a sadhu, a saint, and we only approach him with respect and distance. First of all, the spiritual master is our friend. And Maharaj, he was this friend. And I will truly miss him. And today I'm grieving. I remembered with my wife, we were singing some songs. I listened to his kirtans, his music. Then we were reading from his book. This book is called Forever Present. Before he left his body, he gave us instructions. He gave us so many things to work on our whole life. He had cancer, so he had time to prepare. And he got this great opportunity, this gift, to have time before he departures. Many just die, finish. But imagine, okay, you have 6 months to live. And especially if you have influence over so many lives, so many peoples. So he could really use this time to guide us, to give us shelter. And I'm ever grateful for this. And since he left this physical realm, he is more present than before. Like the title of the book, Forever Present. Because now, I don't need to buy a ticket to India to see him, or wait till he comes to Europe. Now, I can connect with him in the heart, in just a second. And I can feel it. Sometimes I have dreams about him, and he's shouting at me, why not doing what I told you? How long do you wait? Why can't you listen to me? I know, I can feel it. He's my ever well-wisher. He's always there for me, in any situation. And now more than before, I read any book, I listen to any class, from him, from someone else. I can always see his guiding hand. He gives me the understanding, the knowledge, the freedom, the peace. So everything I try to give you with this YouTube channel, Atmaflow, is because of his mercy. Honestly, I'm a rascal. I'm no one. If you would know my whole life history, you would probably never turn this YouTube channel on again. But I changed so much because this one person always had faith in me. He guided me with his love, with his sincerity, with his devotion and dedication to God's divine mission, to make us all mad in ecstasy, to be happy beyond what we can even perceive and understand, a happiness you can't even describe. And I already can taste a small drop of this nectar, and I know I just continue with what I'm doing. I can feel his grace, his shelter. This drop at one point will be a big ocean with the most ecstatic waves. And I can ride on them. So there's so much more to say. Today is the disappearance day, according to the Western calendar. On the 26th, in some parts of the world, 27, we celebrate, I say celebrate, the disappearance day according to the Vedic calendar. In our tradition, disappearance days, when people die, there's lots of grief and sadness and remembrance. This is also a part. But then we celebrate, we come together, we glorify, we remember, we sing, we dance, we eat. Because death is just a journey. Because when a spiritual, elevated, awakened personality leaves this world behind, he will get his spiritual identity, spiritual form. And he will be at the best place, the best moment you can ever imagine. Behind this material world of birth, death, old age and disease. Eternal, full of bliss and conscious. And I can tell you, by the way he left this world behind, he showed me that I can do the same. That we all can do the same. I could feel the moment when he left. I remember I was at a temple, I did some service there, I cooked, and the cooking was supposed to be finished at 7:45. At 7:43, my wife stormed into the kitchen, full of tears, and she told me, he left. This was the first moment in my life that I really felt a divine presence. I could feel him so close. I also burst out in tears. I almost couldn't breathe. This day was the most devastating day in my life. And I had so many friends who left their bodies in a very young age. Most of them died because of drug addiction. And it pained my heart. It changed something in me. But this time it was different. There was so much grief and sadness, and I felt like I'm sinking into the floor. For 2-3 days I couldn't walk properly, I couldn't think. At the same time, I felt so much ecstasy and spiritual upliftment because I could feel my spiritual master's presence. I don't want to make this video too long. I don't know if I'm qualified to talk about this topic. I just hope that my Gurudev is pleased with what I'm doing. I'm just trying to share the gifts I got from him and from so many others. Because this world needs love, devotion, mercy. This world needs to wake up, to get free from the shackles of birth and death, of all this lust and desires, never fulfilled. This world needs hope, real peace and harmony, and what the world really needs is to reconnect to God, to re-establish our lost relationship with Him. This is the only purpose why we are here. In fact, nothing else really matters. Only you, your relationship to God, and to all living entities, because we're all a big family. If we develop this consciousness, there will be no war, no scarcity. Everything will be in harmony. In a different yuga, Satya Yuga, it was like this. But it's getting more and more degraded, and now we're in the Kali Yuga. But there's still hope, because we have access to this knowledge. We have the possibility to associate with all these saintly personalities. But we can't wait for a wonder to happen. We have to be the change, what we desire the world to be. Thank you so much for taking your time and listening to me. I just try to express myself and give back and follow the words of all my spiritual teachers. Sending you love. All the best. His Holiness Kadamba Kanana Swami Maharaj Ki Chai. Namaste.